In this video, I'm going to be talking about GitHub Actions Importer and how you can use IssueOps to serve as the user interface for running migration commands. Typically, you'd install a GitHub CLI extension on your local machine in order to run GitHub Actions Importer commands locally. However, you can use the IssueOps workflow that we'll be going through today to set up a self-service workflow to instead run GitHub Actions Importer directly in Actions without you needing to install software on your machine itself. To get started, you can go to the Actions Importer IssueOps repository. Use this template as a new repository in your own organization. In this case, I'll set it under my own personal account. And create this repository. Next, if we look at the README of this repository, there's a set of instructions that detail all of the credentials that are needed to be stored in GitHub Actions secrets in order for Actions Importer to authenticate with your source CI/CD provider and with your desired GitHub repository. Now that I've set up these secrets, I can open up a new issue using the predefined issue templates that come with this template repository and choose the migration path that is correct for you. In this case, I'm going to be migrating a Jenkins pipeline. Let's go ahead and submit this issue. Now that this issue is created, we can see the description detailing all of the / commands that are available to be run. In this case, I'm going to be performing an audit. Now remember, an audit will fetch all of the pipelines defined in a Jenkins server, convert out each of those pipelines to their equivalent GitHub Actions workflow, and then write a report that summarizes how complete and how complex of a migration is possible. Now here we can see that the GitHub Actions Importer is running. And here we can see that there is a status update to this issue with the results of this audit. The contents of this audit summary are the exact same file contents that you would get if you had run the audit on your local machine. The difference here is that instead of having to install GitHub Actions Importer on your local machine, all of the orchestration and running of these migration commands is done in GitHub Actions itself with GitHub Issues as the user interface. Just as we ran an audit, we can also run a dry run. So let's run a dry run using the required parameter that is specified in the issue description and submit this comment. As before, we can see that the Actions Importer is currently running, again, within GitHub Actions itself. And as before, the dry run was successful, and we can see the exact file contents that were used when converting this pipeline. Now, the final command that we will look at is the migrate command. The migrate command will fetch a single pipeline definition, in this case from our Jenkins server, convert that pipeline to its equivalent GitHub Actions workflow, and then open up a pull request on your behalf with those converted workflow contents. Let's run this / command. Now here we can see, instead of a file contents being added as an issue description here, we see a link to the pull request used in order for migrating this workflow. Now, the IssueOps workflow is very complementary to typical usage of GitHub Actions Importer, but it allows an organization to adopt and migrate to GitHub Actions at scale. We've seen organizations that use a traditional hub and spoke model where a hub engineering team or a DevOps team provide services to a broader organization. The hub team may set up the IssueOps repository for the organization, but then the organization can migrate when it is suitable for them to migrate. The IssueOps workflow leaves a fantastic history of who requested a migration, when that migration was completed, and provides the logs for historical purposes. The Actions Importer IssueOps template repository is free for any Actions Importer customer to use, so get started today.